Makam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev, Nrsingadev, Jaya Nrsingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Sringa Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. My name is Naimisharanya Das. I'm disciple of His Holiness Vaisheshika Maharaj. Before we start, let us have Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhav Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. O Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. O Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. O Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. O Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. O Jaya Gurudeva, 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 Srila Gurudeva. O Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. O Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंसा परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंसा परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की। टैगोर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing our reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, which is titled Prayers by Queen Kunti, and we are on text number 40. Do you all have the verse on your phone? So it's Canto 1, Chapter 8, text 40. Chapter 8, text 40, 40. So the Sanskrit is Ime janapada shravadhya supakshva ushradhi viruddha vanadri nadye udanvanto hai edhante tava vikshitahai. Ime janapada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddhai vanatri nadyai udanvanto hai edhante tava vikshitai. Ime janapada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddhai vanatri nadyai udanvanto hai edhante tava vikshitai. Ime jana pada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddha vanadri nadyayudvanvanto Haidanti tava vikshitai Ime jana pada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddha vanadri nadyayudvanvanto Haidhante tava vikshitai. Vaishnavis. Ime jana pada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddha vanadri nadye udvanto haidhante tava vikshitai. Ime jana pada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddha navanadri nadi udvanto hai idhante tava vikshitai. Would kids like to say it? Ime jana pada shravadha supakshvaushadhi viruddha vanadri nadi udvantanto hai idhante tava vikshitai. Haribol. So word for word, ime, all these, jana padaha, cities and towns, swaridha, flourished, supakwa, mature, aushadhi, herbs, viruddha, vegetables, vana, forests, adri, hills, nadi, rivers, udanvantaha, seas, he, certainly, idhante, increasing, tava, by you, vikshitai, seen. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance, and the trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing, and the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans are full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Please repeat after me. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Purport. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation, the natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as He desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reactions of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural propensity be maintained by His grace. Translation again is, all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the ocean full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. So what we are reading today is from the prayers of Mother Kunti. So Mother Kunti, she is offering these prayers before Krishna, just before Krishna is about to leave Hastinapur. And Mother Kunti is the aunt of Krishna. She, even though she is so close to Krishna, she also knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She knew that we are only a spirit spark, only a partial manifestation, right? We have the same quality, but Krishna has the entire quantity. She knew that. We are just a spiritual spark, an eternal servant of Krishna. This verse or this prayer also reflects, it's putting a spotlight on our consciousness versus the supreme consciousness. We see that many times we start to wonder and exploit whatever Krishna has given us in the material world, right? We forget that actually everything is coming from Krishna, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we start to exploit what Krishna has given us, then we become material, right? Then we become karmis. So the karmis are the people who are on the materialistic platform. They want to enjoy the fruits of their own actions, of their fruitative activities. So there are three kinds of karmis: bhukti karmis, mukti karmis, and shuddhi karmis, right? Different levels. So what is the definition of a materialistic person. Somebody who is in this material world, we might consider a materialistic person somebody who has more wealth or more cars or a bigger house, right? However, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita explains that anybody who considers himself, this body, the senses, this mind, is a materialistic person. A person who considers himself the soul and not this body, that person is already on the spiritual platform. So we have different levels, right? So we are on the materialistic platform, they are called the karmis. Next, when they go a little bit higher, then we have people who are trying to understand the spiritual platform, but their understanding is not complete. Such people are known as the yogis and the jnanis and the yogis, right? The jnanis and the yogis, they are hankering after knowledge and yoga, right? Meditation, austerities. They have the impersonal conception of Krishna. Their conception is that he has no form. He is impersonal. So on the materialistic platform, the materialists, they are trying to worship the person who is most supreme in this materialistic world, right? And who would that be? Those would be the demigods. The demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, right? They are the highest on the demigod platform. They are maintaining the different departments. A little bit higher than the demigods would be Lord Ganesh, right? Lord Ganesh, he is somebody who tries to remove all the impediments. And that's the reason why the materialistic people, they worship Lord Ganesh, that he can remove all the difficulties and impediments and give them material success. A little bit higher, they come to the platform of Devi. And there are 3 different categories of people worshipping Devi. Somebody who is worshipping Devi on the platform of mode of ignorance, they worship as Kali. In the mode of passion, it would be Mother Durga. And mode of not goodness, but a little bit higher than mode of passion, they worship her as Annapurna or Jagadatri. Next, when they come a little bit more higher, they come to the platform of impersonalism, right? They transcend the material platform, but they still don't have the conception that Krishna is a person. They come to the platform of impersonalist form, that Krishna is formless. Those are the jnanis and the karmis. So that is still a preliminary stage of the spiritual understanding, that the super soul is in the heart and he is in everyone's heart. But the devotees, the bhaktas, they are on the most advanced platform. Why? Because they understand that Krishna, he is a person. He is a person with a capital P. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. And when they start to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, what happens? Immediately they surrender. There is Sharanagati, right? Lord Brahma says in his Brahma Samhita prayers, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Satchid Ananda Vigraha. He is the personality who has Sat, Chid and Ananda. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Everything is coming from Krishna. He is the cause of all causes. He is the beginning of the beginningless. Just imagine, right? He's the beginning of beginningless. Everything is actually emanating from Krishna. That, when the devotee understands, right, he is on the highest platform because he is able to then see Krishna in everything. When he understands that everything is emanating from Krishna. So As soon as he understands this, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the greatest person, immediately we surrender. Like if you think about some great person, a person who is great here, this material world. Give me an example of a great person we know. Elon Musk, right? If Elon Musk shows up here at the temple, right, immediately, or in Dallas, right, immediately there will be a line of people ready to welcome him, right? They would like to serve him. Now imagine when we understand who the Supreme Personality is, not just on this material realm, but throughout, then we understand that we surrender. That is Sharanagati. So we bow down, right? We welcome, we give garlands. That Sharanagati is the very basic for us to be able to develop love for somebody, love for Krishna. When we develop that love, that Krishna prem, then we naturally become his devotees. So the Jnanis, their knowledge is about non-dual. So the three aspects we were reading were the Brahman aspect, the Paramatma aspect, and the Bhagavan aspect. So that is the gradual elevation. And devotees' activities, they look similar to the materialistic activities. However, they are always connected to Krishna. Anything they do is connected to Krishna. They wake up, they get ready, they take care of their bodies, they have some food, which is prasadam, which is mercy of the Lord. They're cooking. So from the outside, it looks like they're just doing normal activities. But the difference is that they're keeping Krishna in the center. Just like how Mother Kunti is explaining in this prayer, that everything is happening only because of the glance of Krishna. As soon as there is a glance of Krishna in our lives, then there is prosperity, abundance and prosperity. So this we should try to understand, that we never want to forget Krishna and we always want to remember Krishna. This is the intimate reciprocation which devotees have. In these prayers, we see how Mother Kunti is having reciprocation with Krishna in her prayers. So how do we develop this love, right? How do we develop this glance coming from Krishna? In this verse, we see that Mother Kunti is saying that all this is due because of your glance over them. So same way, we are hankering for Krishna's glance over us, right? When Krishna glances over us, then we understand that there is going to be abundance of prosperity. So how do we do that? We do that with love, right? Only with love. When we learn that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. How do we learn that? By going to our scriptures. When we read these prayers of advanced devotees like Mother Kunti, we understand what is their relationship with Krishna, and we also understand the qualities of Lord Sri Krishna. So, is this relationship material? No. This is on a spiritual platform. The same relationship which Mother Kunti is having with Lord Krishna, face to face, physically, we can also develop that same loving relationship in our heart. And it is non-different. That relationship which we develop with Krishna is non-different from the relationship when we actually see him in person. So, what is the purpose of this human form of life? The purpose of this human form of life is for us to be able to understand with our intelligence this knowledge which is coming down in disciplic succession. For us to be able to understand that who are we, who is Krishna, and what is my relationship with Krishna. Each one of us has a unique relationship with Krishna, which we have forgotten. We have forgotten for millions of lifetimes. And we are covered by different kinds of conditioning. And the only way in which we can remove this conditioning Krishna says that there are 3 types of conditionings. Anybody remembers? What were the 3 ways in the Bhagavad Gita? One was the dust on the mirror. That's one type of covering. Second type of covering is smoke on fire. And the third type of covering is a child in the womb, right? A baby in the womb of the mother. So everybody has different types of coverings, which we have got. And the only way for us to be able to again remember who we are is for us to remove that covering. And Srila Prabhupada, he was so compassionate. He came all the way from Vrindavan only for us to be able to understand how we can remove this covering. And in this age of Kali, the way is for us to chant Krishna's holy name. Just by chanting Krishna's holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we are able to understand who is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We're able to understand His qualities. We're able to understand His pastimes. We're able to understand what is our relationship with Krishna. So this is what we are trying to work towards. We're trying to work towards getting that loving glance of Krishna on ourselves. We see that many people in this material world, we notice, are miserable. They might have everything, right? They might have abundance of money, property, wealth, but still they're not happy. They're not able to, they hate their own parents, their kids, their family. Why? Because they're missing that essence of life, which is love. So opulence might be there, but there's no prosperity without Krishna's glance. And when Krishna's glance is there, then there is abundance of foodstuff, flowers, jewels, gold, silver, minerals. Like we see how degraded our society has become, right? Earlier in the past, everybody used to eat on gold plates, silver plates, right? Based on different hierarchies. The kings would eat on gold plates. Somebody who was a little bit lower than the king would eat on silver plates. And a little bit more poor would actually eat on clay plates. But still, they would just eat once on the clay plate and then throw it away, right? They would not reuse it. Nowadays, we have plastic, right? And we try to reuse it. So we understand that even materially, we're not growing. With Krishna's glance, Srila Prabhupada says that earlier there used to be rains in the night and it used to be dry in the morning, right? So all the trees would actually get enough water, and in the morning it would be so convenient for everybody to do activities. And we see that because of so much exploitation which is happening, we're noticing that all these natural resources are being used more and more. So what does that mean? Should we not use these natural resources? No. Srila Prabhupada explains that everybody is able to use the natural resources, but we should just accept what is needed in our own, what we need, not take more and more, right? We don't want to exploit these natural resources. When we start to take more and more, that's when we start to exploit, and then there's going to be material problems. So the devotee, when we become devotees, our hearts become satisfied. And when our hearts become satisfied, our hearts will overflow, and then we are able to share this love with everyone. And that is the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he came with 2 instructions. Chant the holy name and make your life perfect, and give it to others. Preach this holy name to others, right? So 2 things. Make your life successful by chanting the holy name, and give this gift to others. And how do we develop this love? We develop this love only by knowing Him by these scriptures, by reading these prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here we see how Mother Kunti, she is, even though Krishna is related to him, she's so close, yet she never forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She understands that only because of the glance of Krishna, everything, all prosperity can come to us. So we should always remember this, that we are just a part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna has actually given us natural resources to use for Krishna's service and not to just take more and more and try to exploit it. And we should always try to chant the holy name so we can make our heart full of love and then share this with others. We'll stop here and we'll see if devotees have some reflections and we'll have some discussion. Hare Krishna.
Bhakti process. So I was just meditating on that point that I personally tend to take it for granted, and although those coverings are still there, because of my own, anarthas and of the tendency of taking it for granted, not really able to being grateful to what we have to get rid of those coverings. But it is good to be reminded about that. And also a very good verse that how Krishna is providing everything in abundance, all the natural gifts, that also pretty much, it's readily available. Again, there is a tendency to take it for granted. So being grateful for that also is, a good reminder from this verse. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. This reminds me how Srila Prabhupada always says that if you have lots of zeros, right, there would just be a string of zeros. They mean nothing. But as soon as you put a 1 in front, then it becomes a very large number. So same way, our lives are just zeros if we don't actually put Krishna in front, in the center. We toil so hard day in and day out, but when we are going to leave this body, everything is going to, it's all temporary, right? Everything we see around us is just temporary. It's all going to go away. However, if we actually keep Krishna in the center and we utilize this human life, this human body, which we have got after who knows how long, if we utilize this human form of life and we actually are able to use our consciousness to be able to understand that, we're not this body. We're actually the soul. We're spirit spark. We actually have a relationship with Krishna, which we have forgotten. Then we are able to make this lifetime successful. So, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dharma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. I was wondering, how do we convince people in general that Krishna is really the supplier of all these things, the giant cities, the industries, and how do we get people to not try to exploit, Mother Earth, and is it possible to really convince somebody that Krishna will just take care of everything? And is that just sort of a pie in the sky thing? Do we just say, oh, well, Krishna will take care of it? And everybody said, well, look at all this that's come about by the effort of man, and so how do we really convince them of that?
So actually Srila Prabhupada says that with material civilization, we might have these tall skyscrapers, big machines, nuts and bolts. But one day, if there's no food, we won't be able to eat the nuts and bolts. And the only way in which we'll be able to survive is to actually go to Mother Earth. And only then Mother Earth, when she is satisfied, then she's going to produce in abundance by the glance of Krishna. We also see in the scriptures like how Maharaj Prithu, when he came, there was so much like destruction at that point. And Maharaj Prithu, he actually cultivated Mother Earth. And from Mother Earth, he was able to get so many different things. And because of that, then, everything started to flourish again. So we've seen, multiple times, Jai Shri Shri Radha Kalachan Ji Ki Jai. So we've seen, multiple times in the past as well that, without the mercy of Mother Earth, it's going to be so difficult. It's just a matter of few times, right? A few more years, the weight in the ocean is going to be more of plastic than of the fish which are there. And the whole ecosystem is going to be like just moved around. So we should always remember that these natural resources we shouldn't take for granted, and we should always try to protect Mother Earth.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class. I really like this part of the Bhagavatam. I'm really attracted to Mother Nature and getting her. I like how it was explained that Krishna's glance over Mother Nature actually brings about all of these abundances. And my question is a little bit about how to say this. Like, how in ISKCON are we doing these things? Because I feel that it's not necessarily the single families that are buying milk or buying all these plastic items that are contributing to large amounts of waste and things like that, but it's more larger organizations. Like, we are actually kind of doing also in ISKCON temples, we are buying so much stuff, a lot of things are going to waste. And so I'm wondering, in our farm communities, I've stayed at a few and there's not exactly an abundance of things being grown. So I'm a little bit confused. How are we doing that as an ISKCON thing? And I do feel that, to Prabhu's question about how do we convince others that Krishna is really supplying everything, I feel we have to be convinced of ourselves. But we are not really doing any of those things. I don't see so many people growing their own food and giving it to Kalachandji's temple. We're also buying. We're very much a part of that system. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Thank you. Thank you for your question, your thought-provoking question. So my answer would be, Srila Prabhupada has explained that Varnashram Dharma is very, very important. And this was something which he really wanted. And the whole concept was simple living with high thinking, not high living with simple thinking. And it really starts with each one of us. If we mold our lives in such a way that we are leading a life that we understand that, yes, Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is actually coming from your glance. This whole material creation started only when you glanced over the material nature. And when Krishna glanced, right, in the Mahavishnu form, that's when everything started to come out. We should be convinced, like you said. We should be convinced. And when we are convinced, then we can try to make a difference in our lives. And when we make a difference in our lives, people around us are going to notice. And when people around us notice, then there can be a ripple effect. Additionally, I feel like there are many farm communities, in ISKCON, right? Like we have Prabhupada village, we have a village in New Thalawan, right, which is close to us. there's so many devotees who are taking the effort to actually set up these farm communities. I know devotees here in Dallas too are trying to do that, where they've taken a big, farm and they're trying to set that up. So it's definitely gradual, but if we try to make a difference and we understand, by going deeper into the subject matter, then slowly there is going to be a change. And Srila Prabhupada, he changed so much, right? Like all the devotees initially, when they came to Srila Prabhupada, they were in different conditions. But because of the association of devotees, there was such a big transformation. So my answer would be, we can try to do a difference in our lives, and from our examples, when people see what changes we're making, there's definitely going to be a ripple effect. And like you said, we have to be convinced. We should be convinced that we are not the doer, and everything's actually happening by Krishna's plan. We're just instruments in Krishna's plan. And I think that can actually make a big difference. Hope that's okay. You want to add something?
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the response about the gradual process. I think things do take a lot of time, and ISKCON is not just meant for one group of people, it's meant for the whole world. So naturally it's going to take longer. So I do appreciate that comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to add to this? Yes, Mother. Here comes the mic.
We do have some sustainable small communities like the farm in Hungary, and then the Govardhan Eco Village in Mumbai that I know of. So these are self-sustaining communities. I know in Hungary they live off the grid. They produce their own energy, and they have their own water. So these are small little places, little oases, which are setting that trend, and then other people have to follow. But as we said, there's not as many. We have to, and then many people have the idea and they may have bought the land, but it's just the beginning of something which will grow.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
The farm in the Eco Village has in Govardhan in Mumbai has received international awards for the effort they show in being a sustainable community. Yeah. Showing examples of sustainability. It's not fully sustainable, but how they produce their own, use biogas, and they try to show a natural way of living. The same thing in Hungary.
And that's actually creating such a big difference. There's so many people now visiting, right? Like for Govardhan Eco Village, for example, they have yoga programs. They're working very closely with the tribal communities close by. It's making such a huge, huge difference. And slowly, I think, this is going to be a ripple effect where different devotees in different parts of the world would like to set up these oases. And, that'll gradually make a big change. So, Dharma Prabhu.
It's not just that, as we develop as devotees and we spread this movement and more people become Krishna conscious, they're going to become more purified and they're going to adopt practices of Krishna consciousness that pleases Krishna. And the overall effect is to raise the consciousness of people. And it really, I think, Prabhupada said one of the most, I don't know if you say important, you're talking about Varnashram Dharma. First of all, that's what we're talking about. Varnashram Dharma means Prabhupada wanted farm communities. He wanted us to learn how to live off the land because someday this society will collapse. So how will we live? But it's very hard to break our conditioning. I don't want to go live on a farm. I didn't grow up with animals. I didn't grow up on the farm. I'm a city boy, right? So what does that mean? Am I a failure? No, it means that we have to be Krishna consciousness here, practice Krishna consciousness and be Krishna conscious, practice it, and in giving it to others, not only will their consciousness improve, but our consciousness will improve, and it will propel us towards the goal of Varnashram Dharma. And society will begin to wake up and see, hey, the oceans are clogged, this is a problem, and they'll try to react to it. But their reactions will be material, so they won't really be sufficient. So the only real answer is spiritual solution, right? Because the real problem is birth, old age, disease, and death. And so, but it's interesting how we wrestle with the problem. Like me myself, I'm not going to go and work on a farm, and that might be good, and I learn how to till the land and grow things. But what am I doing? I mean, I have a place in the city, and I have a job, and I think I can do more here. You know what I mean? So it's like, but that's not, I think that's pleasing to our gurus and to Prabhupada. So, but we do have to, I think, try, and like Mataji said, we have these farm communities, and there are some real committed devotees. And, but I think, that was what I wanted to share, that I think that it's something that if we, like you said, if we put Krishna in the center and we're sincere and sincerely trying, then really the result's going to be Krishna. You know, Krishna's going to help this movement spread. But he wants to see us. Are we willing to surrender and do what we have to do, you know, to spread the movement?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think the main point is like we have to be strict, serious, and sincere in our practices. When we are strict, serious, and sincere in our practices, then the people we see, right, they are going to be motivated to ask us, like, what's going on with you? Why are you always so happy despite so many issues in your life, right? And I think that is the key, that we are able to first mold our lives in a way that irrespective of whatever disturbances are happening, if we keep Krishna in the center and we understand that, and we are able to attract Krishna's glance over us, then, you know, we're going to make a big difference. Yes, Prabhu.
Just reflecting on this point of working on your own practice, this idea that we want to see some change in the world, but the thing is that it has to start where we are in control of something. With that is our body, our mind. That is the realm that we actually have control over. We want to see the world change, but if we're not applying that in our personal life and wanting to see that change internally, then what can I expect from the world? If I ask the world to change, I tell, oh, ISKCON isn't doing this or ISKCON isn't doing that. But if I'm not doing it myself, it feels almost hypocritical to expect that of the world when I'm not personally transforming myself. Because our process is right, it's based on this idea of that when you transform yourself, you become convinced yourself. And then automatically, organically, it bubbles over, and then now you feel you just can't live without giving it to other people. And so, and that's as a collective, once everybody's becoming Krishna conscious, then everybody's bubbling over, then it just spreads organically. It's not something that we have to force and be, hypocritical or negative about. It just happens organically. That's Prabhupada's movement, right? Prabhu said how our mission is to uplift consciousness, and that can only come through interacting with Krishna or things that are already above in consciousness. And so that uplifts us. And so I was just reflecting on that idea. I had one more thing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, very good point. Okay. Yes, so what Prabhu was sharing was that the main point is that we need to try to work on our practices. If we are able to make a difference in our lives, then collectively, organically, things are going to change. And that's going to be more powerful than coming from the top. When it's actually bottom up, it's going to be more powerful than actually somebody prescribing you, do this, do this. So, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
and the other thing I was going to add was that what we're giving here as Krishna, as devotees, as people who are aspiring to be Krishna conscious, is that we want to transfer people's heart. Like it's that the analogy of You can teach a man how to fish. You can give a man a fish, but better to teach him how to fish. So I can tell someone, I can clean the roads, I can, build a farm, I can do all these things, but if their nature, the tendency is the same thing, then tomorrow, month after, things are gonna happen again. It's gonna just dirty up again. So if we teach people how to transform their heart and their consciousness and the way they think and think of, everything surrounded around Krishna and not with themselves and their exploitative tendencies in the middle, then that's actually more powerful. Then you're empowering people. Then the change will happen. Prabhupada's empowered individuals to make the change on its own. He's not physically in terms of, but his books are here. He's here to tell us and transform our heart, and that leads to everybody in their own worlds making their different changes. So, yeah.
This is such a powerful point. Thank you, Prabhu. The whole point is that we want to try to make everyone leaders, empower everybody. Like my Gurudev says that, encourage the heck out of everyone, right? When you encourage the heck out of everyone, then everybody is going to be so enthused that everybody wants to do something. And collectively, when we do something, it's going to be a big thing. So, thank you. This is very important. Krishna. We'll take 2 more reflections. One from you, Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for a
Hare
nice class and reminding what your Guru says. Encourage the heck out of everyone. I could actually visualize him saying that. The verse that we talked about, I think for me personally, is to build that faith that the earth, Mother Earth, is providing. And I just want to read that again. Yeah, the hills are full of minerals and the oceans are full of wealth, and this is due to your glancing over them. So if Krishna is glancing over us, also we will find everything we need to sustain ourselves. So we should focus on getting Krishna's glance over our lives more than trying to go out and get the minerals and get the wealth. So
how can we get his glance?
Please answer that question.
Somebody.
Love and devotion.
Yeah, do something to please Krishna, right? Like if you want to get a glance from some devotee, what are you going to do? You're going to try to please this devotee, serve this devotee. And when you, Jai Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji ki Jai. See how he's glancing over us now. Hari Bol. Right? We want to serve somebody. When we serve somebody with love, their heart is going to just melt. And when their heart melts, that is love. They just give everything. So, yes, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, just a real quick funny story. I had just joined the movement. I was a bhakta. Maybe I was close to initiation. I was out front of the temple, and I was attracted to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He was here, so I knew he was going to be my guru. And he was going out of town for a while. He was going to travel for like a month. And so I went up to him and I said, Gurudev, is there anything you want me to do while you're gone? Thinking I'd get some big instruction like, go save the world or something like that. And I mean, I really thought I was going to get some big instruction. He said, no. And he turned away. And then he turned back and he said, can you just chant? He goes, can you just follow the regulated principles and chant Hare Krishna every day? Can you do that? Can you just do that? I said, yes, Gurudev, yes. And so does everybody understand that? It's like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That just follow the regulated principles and chant Hare Krishna every day. If you can do that, you'll get purified and you'll get Krishna's glance through the mercy of Guru, and things will improve, not only in your own life, but for the whole world.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very powerful. Okay, one last reflection from somebody. Like to share something? Here comes the mic. Something you got from this class. When somebody outside is going to ask you, what did you do for an hour there? What are you going to tell them?
What is it?
If somebody outside is going to ask you, what did you do for an hour in this class? What are you going to tell them?
Oh, um, actually, this class I really learned a lot, and I really like this. Talking about simple. So I'll say Prabhupada, he suggests like really recommend as this Vanashrama ashram system. So he also mentioned that we just need to grow something that's enough to eat for our family, like at our backyard or side yard or front yard. Just grow something that our families want to eat. Or you like to eat eggplant, you like to eat okra, you like to eat what, peaches. Or just grow these few things that your family want to eat, not like a cash crop. You don't need to grow a cash crop. So just grow simple things, just a few things that your kids like to eat, your husband like to eat, you like to eat. And then you can easily maintain this, and it's enough. So when the society collapse, you don't need to worry. Oh my God, everything in the store is already run out. What am I going to do? I'm going to what? So you have our back, can sustain for now, So yeah, we need to start and so this is really important.
Thank you. Yeah, very practical example, right? Grow something. We all have space, right? Little bit backyard, little front yard. Get some pots. Try to grow something. Right? Very practical example. And this also answers what can we do, right? And when we start to have a collection of pots, people around us are going to see, wow, this Prabhu, this Mataji, they're growing so much. Maybe I can start to grow a little bit. And then organically, things can start changing. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Mother Kunti ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.